Good afternoon, everybody. It's the dog with you. Another edition of Weber This Week here on FingerLakes1.com on a drop-dead gorgeous Monday. I want to order 1,000 of these days, even though the calendar is working against me. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, my friend Joe Marone from Geneva, New York, is stopping by to talk about the North Seneca Plaza, which he has a concept working with other people to make happen at a new location, if it gets approved by the Geneva City Council, et cetera, et cetera. We're here to talk to Joe about how he got involved in this and where it stands presently. And Jimmy's also got some pictures, some renderings that Joe and Gabriella D'Angelo, who sent that to us, we'll be showing them during the course of the show. So good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be with you. Without further ado, it's good to have my friend. By the way, myself and Joe, we are literally, where I sit and Joe sits, we're literally, 10 feet away, right, Joe?
Yep.
Joe, of course, is a casino host for Del Lago Resort and Casino and does a great job with his clients, as well as all of the hosts do a wonderful job keeping our great folks that come to Del Lago happy and content, and they do a wonderful job. I know I was telling Joe before we went on the air, I had a chance, along with Mary, to go out the other night to check out the Fabio Viviani 90-minute demonstration on cooking, and he's like nobody I've ever seen before. He's phenomenally funny, and he's one hell of a chef as well. So, by the way, he is the owner of Portico, which, of course, is our high-end restaurant at Del Lago. I think Joe and myself would agree with the comment being made by me is you want to get out there and try it out. Portico, Porticol, check out, get a reservation. Don't just walk in expecting to find a table, because they're usually pretty busy, but the food is fantastic. Would you agree, Joe?
100% agree.
So check out the Portico and get a reservation, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Well, Joe, thanks again for coming in. Let's talk about, for the folks who may not know you here on Finger Lakes One as we stream live this show, talk about your background, where you were born, where you went to school, et cetera, et cetera.
All right, I'll give you the short version.
Go ahead.
I grew up north of Boston in Nashua, New Hampshire. I guess I was born in Buffalo, technically. Moved back to the Rochester area when I was 18, and just kind of been grinding ever since then. Moved to Geneva with my wife in 2009. We opened up Joe's Hots in 2010. And about March of 2010 is about when this whole plaza concept started to come into play. And so that's where we are now. Now we're at Del Lago, yep.
How did you get to be a casino host? Did you have ambitions to work at the casino, or did it just something that you had done previously, or did you just want to get involved in doing that?
Well, my dad plays at another casino.
Okay.
And so I'd gone a few times to understood what the casino was. I don't play myself,
sure.
And my entertainment's different, you know.
Right.
So I went out and went with my dad one day, and I actually got to meet our vice president of player development, which is Matt Ingold, my boss.
Great guy.
Shook his hand. I got to see kind of like, this dude's having a good time at work. Like, I want to have a good time at work. And I wasn't having a good time at work, which was when I was owning the restaurant.
Right.
And then I saw this opportunity of Del Lago coming into play, and I was like, well, this guy looks like he has a good time.
Right.
See if I can get an interview. Because Del Lago is such a strong, is going to be, and is now currently, but it's going to be, as we grow, a strong economic engine for our community. So I could still be a part of helping the Finger Lakes grow, helping Geneva, helping Seneca Falls, Waterloo, and then obviously helping myself, I guess, you know, and having a job that I enjoy. So that's where
you got hired.
Yeah, that's how it worked out for me over at Del Lago, and I'm happy to be there. It's an honor to work for the Wilmot family. It's an honor to work for Matt. I've learned a lot from Matt and Jimmy himself, and Jeff and yourself, actually, you know, because we literally sit about as close as we are now.
We interact a lot when we're there, and I remember Joe helping us out with the buses way back when you would help us out when we had the casino host endeavor some of their valuable time, which, by the way, they don't help. We don't, well, in case of emergency, they would be out there to help us, but we got now the promotions people helping us out on the buses, and they do a great job, led by our good friend Gerald and also Stephanie, September, along with Shannon, the supervisors out there, do a great job. Well, let's talk about the North Seneca Plaza. You Geneva, I know you got the wife and a couple of kids, which are darling kids.
They're perfect.
Let's talk about...
hi, Griffin.
Yeah, let's talk about, say hi. Let's talk about what prompted you to pursue this endeavor right now.
Well, it actually had a lot to do with like my upbringing. You know, I got to see when I was younger, at such a young age, I grew up in a city about like 100,000 people. And I remember what Eastern Border went through and endured to build what we had at our hometown, and it took a lot of effort, and it was to see it when it finally got built, in the eyes of those dudes, Ed and those guys, it was pretty cool. And I was skating at the Geneva skate park one day, and I was like, this is kind of a joke. And I guess joke's the wrong way, but it's like building a basketball court for kids, but with a grass court. We got a hoop, we got a backboard, we got a net, but we're missing the bouncing of the ball. We can pass to our friends and have a jolly good time, and we appreciate what we have, but it's 11 years old, 12 years old now, maybe even older than that, and it's starting to get a little unsafe, and it's not really allowing us, and especially our younger kids, to progress as skateboarders. And also, we have a lot of good street spots in Geneva, but the problem is we really can't skate those.
That's right.
So, or we shouldn't, rather, especially with the new lakefront built, and we want to skate that stuff. And kids have tried, and kids have done it, and shoot, I've done it myself.
Sure.
A lot. And we need a space that we can come and skate, but also it can't just be a skate park.
That's right.
It can't be, because Geneva's a small community. We have a lot of parks. We have a lot of wasted parks as well. And the youth needs to be able to get outside and play, So if we can use skateboarding and then mend it in with maybe flying a kite, maybe just you taking the grandkids, nieces, nephews, whatever, just going out with the wife, going out with Mary, just going to hang out.
Or just sitting on a bench and relaxing and enjoying the weather.
That's it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And, with this idea of being close to the lakefront, I can go on for hours.
Sure.
So,
well, no, I think it's important, and I know you. And let's send out some love to. I haven't met her yet. I'm sure you'll bring her back on the show when we're down the road further.
Absolutely.
Gabriella D'Angelo, who's the assistant professor of architecture for Hobart and William Smith. Talk about her role. She's obviously been heavily involved as well.
Her role, wow. Gabriella, she's a godsend. She's super cool. Her husband Scott has been highly involved too. He helped me with my parklet. That's how Gabriella and we got involved together, was this parklet program that was in Geneva, and I designed mine after kind of a couple of famous skate spots. Just because that's my vision has always been this, and to promote skateboarding. And Gabriella just kind of got hooked on this idea of skateboarding. She started watching old 80s videos, skate videos, 90s videos, and then modern videos, and she got hyped on the architecture side of things. And she actually got a skateboard herself. We hooked her up, got her all set up. But she's been, I guess, the obviously the lead designer so far. The work that she's done is no easy task. I mean, countless hours of measuring out things by the inch. Literally, the design that we have right now is, the only thing I think it's missing is an actual architectural stamp, But she's been integral. She's been keeping me motivated through all the stuff that I've gone through this last year, because it has been hard this last year for me to stay on this project.
Right.
And without her, I wouldn't be this project wouldn't be where it is today, for sure.
Well, you went to the council. I had a chance to watch it on FLTV recently. A few weeks ago, I guess I saw it. And some of the council of the membership had reservations, to say it lightly.
Understandable.
There were only 3 that were basically opposed. Ken Camera, who announced in the paper, and I brought the article so I didn't screw it up, mentioned that in his view, the Bicentennial Park, where this would be located, in his mind, it was to be used as passive, meaning not those types of activities that you have planned. What do you say to that? I mean, what do you say to his argument that it wasn't fit, that area that you want to go to is not fit for what you want to portray it to be?
I think Councilor Cameron might not fully understand the concept of blending multiple activities together, and that's unfortunate. I personally also feel, I'm speaking again for myself,
sure,
not the entire team,
right?
But he has visions of a public market being there, which is, I think, a great concept. And in our original presentation with Gabrielle and I, this will be the first time that we presented together. For the last couple of years, I've been presenting this to council, I'd say once every 2-3 years since inception. And we presented the idea of using the space as an event space, and also where the public market could be housed as well, and permanently. And I also feel that there's an issue where some of the people that oppose it, I guess, don't understand that it's not going to be 200 skateboarders there at all times. And we're not going to just run into people. I mean, obviously I can't speak to everyone, but if you're going to be walking through this park with your son or
right,
or just by yourself, you're walking from the lakefront to go spend money in downtown, as opposed to trying to walk all the way around and go through the tunnel or race across the street and then end up in a desolate park, you're gonna be aware of your surroundings. And
and then there's a councilman, Paul D'Amico, who, of course, you very well know, said that a lot of his constituents were against the idea, didn't really lead specifics or indicate specifics of his argument. I guess that's just a matter of you and your team winning some of those folks over, I would think.
Absolutely.
Or getting Paul to understand it.
Yeah, Paul has been actually, in my opinion, very supportive of this project. And I'm not sure if he's been quoted in the newspaper, but I know he mentioned it in the meeting that he personally thinks this is a good idea. But he pulled in my book, a baller move as a counselor. Your job is not to just say, this is what I want. It's about your constituents. And
Exactly.
Paul and Councilor Eddington as well both said, hey, I'm speaking on behalf of my constituents, which I find admirable. And but Paul is a great guy and a great counselor. But I think meeting those constituents that would be against the project, and I think a lot of it isn't that they're against skateboarding, which is really nice to know.
Sure.
And they're for this concept idea. But again, we go back to the location.
Yeah.
But I would love for them to attend our public meetings in the future that we're going to be having with our design firm that's coming in. Gabrielle and I we've staged one pop-up, public meeting, we just showed up at the lakefront and started talking to people.
Sure.
Why not? And then we've held one more formal over at the City Hall in the second floor boardroom, which was in the newspaper, was on Facebook. I think we publicized it pretty well.
And, you got a longtime councilman, and the negative, the three that weren't in supporting of, that's what I'm bringing up first. The other council had agreed to it, or that we wouldn't get to this point.
Correct.
And that, of course, is longtime Councilman John Grieco, who indicated, you mentioned the key word location, Joe, in his indication, where his comments were based on the paper article relative to, it didn't make any sense putting it between Lions National Bank and the Hamptons. So I'm sure you want to speak on why that should not be an issue.
In my opinion, first of all, Councilor Grieco is a great man.
Mm-hmm.
Known his different parts of his family. They're great people. And he's also a great council member. He's been here a lot for the Geneva.
Right.
I think he does, I guess maybe again just doesn't understand why, at least I feel, and a lot of my team feels, that this is the right location. One, for example, the Hampton and the Ramada could also use this as like a marketing ploy for their guests.
Right.
For example, you got guests that will be coming to the wine region.
Sure.
Oh, well, we're going to stay in Watkins Glen because, it's on the wine trail. The hotel is right near a park. There's even a skate park for Timmy. With us, that location is more than just for the Hampton, but the Hampton could be, hey, yes, we do have this nice public park that you can go and sit in there and read a book.
And there it is.
It's right next to you.
I was going to say,
you don't even have to drive your car.
Right.
And then you know what? Timmy can ride his skateboard there too. It's allowed because skateboarding has become $1 billion industry, and people travel to skateboard. And back with, I guess, the location it is right off Route 14.
Right.
And a lot of skateboarders, at least of the age of 16, where you can drive a car to your knees don't work anymore. We travel to ride our skateboards. I drag my kids to skate parks all over. I literally have to drag them until they're like, oh, we're riding our bikes at a skate park? Yay, this will be fun. But they don't like the driving part. But anyway, so we spend money. We travel.
Yeah, it's good.
And we're right off Route 14. And with the concept of the park, you're going to have the ability to film, which will drive better skateboarders with more disposable income in groups of people.
Well, I always think of the negatives every time I do a show on this. Joe Marone's my special guest this morning. A good friend of mine, works at Del Lago Casino as a resort and casino as a casino host. And, of course, Joe, what about insurance requirements when somebody stays at the Hampton and wants to go and use the park and gets on a skateboard and hurts themselves? Insurance issue, any claims of insurance against the city? Could they be held liable? How does that all work?
To be honest, I'm not an insurance agent.
Okay.
But I will give you my
personal,
some of the research that I've done and whatnot. I have never once heard of a skateboarder suing a public municipality for riding a skateboard in a skate park. And if they have lost.
Okay.
And a lot of times it's not the skateboarder, it's the parent, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's a public park. For example, if you were to go skateboard in the skate park in Geneva, there's a sign that says skate at your own risk. These are the rules. You don't follow these rules, there goes your court case.
Right.
And obviously I'm not a lawyer either.
No, I know. It's like playing golf. You get hit with a golf ball. You can't sue the country club.
Yeah, you can. You can
Part
get
of the
angry.
risk, just like a baseball game.
Yeah.
If you get a line drive, hit you in the head, and it happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah,
in
my
baseball.
son got hit, or my brother got hit with a broken bat at a Red Wings game back when he was 5.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was a broken bat, not the full bat. You know?
Right.
But in my also opinion, again, I'm not a lawyer,
Sure.
but I feel like the insurance for us having a skate park currently now is possibly higher than us having a public park where I guess you could skateboard in it.
But there's obviously other things you can do as well.
So it's
Multi-purpose.
not just a skate park, yeah. So I feel like the insurance could drop. And at the same time, I don't really know.
Well, look at the clock. It's almost 16 after. We've been on
Jeez Louise.
It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. Joe Marone, my good friend, talking about North Seneca Plaza. When we come back after our commercial break, we're going to zero in on his team. He's got a lot of people he wants to send some love out today on Weber This Week. Joe Marone, my special guest. Acting as a gateway to the Finger Lakes, Del Lago leverages the natural beauty and unique offerings while enhancing tourism in the region. The casino features 2,000 slot machines, 89 gaming tables, including 12 poker tables, portico by Fabio Viviani, a 2,400-person entertainment center, farmers market buffet. The hotel, spa, and banquet facility will open summer 2017. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. The Gold Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. Learn more at thegouldhotel.com. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at McGeeDiner.com. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at NewarkPilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Hey, welcome back. Before we get back to Joe, we're going to throw up some good old drawings, some renderings in a couple of minutes. I want to just go through a couple of things. Seneca Metals always has these events out there, as you know. And we want to talk about a DIY wild grass arranging. That's the latest and greatest coming up. You have the talent. We have the wild grasses. Come make an amazing wild grass arrangement for your dining room table, your entry hall table, or anywhere in between. Demonstration, pictures, pruning shears, and twine provided. To register, call 315-539-5624. Location, Seneca Metals Wetlands Preserve, Black Brook Road in Seneca Falls. It's coming up Saturday, September 23rd, 11 a.m. The cost is free. It is a family-type program. Check it out at Seneca Metals. Well, you know, Joe, we're going to put up some renderings that Gabriella sent me, and you are certainly aware of these pictures. So Jimmy will flip them up on the screen, and then you can talk about what we're looking at here.
All right, cool. So what we're looking at right here is basically one of the main thoroughways of this whole concept of the park. Mm-hmm. You're looking at essentially if you were standing on Exchange Street and kind of in front of Lions National Bank, kind of in front of the Captain's Room Cafe or Captain's Room.
Sure.
And you'd be looking out towards the lakefront. Currently, right now, all you're going to see is just a giant hill with a little bit of a view of a water fountain, and you're not going to see the lake. You're not going to see that nice multi-million-dollar building we built with that's going to be changing into like the visitor center.
Yep.
So you're not going to be able to see that. And what's nice is now you'll actually be able to see across this entire place. In the view, and you get to see the lake. And that was one of our Gabriella's main visions, is we need to open up that lake view.
Very nice.
And here what you're kind of seeing is kind of how we're going to incorporate skatable features in with architecture and just general landscape. So what you're seeing is this dude kind of just doing a kickflip on flat.
Right.
But it looks like you can see it looks like a guy pushing in towards us on that gray image there. What that is going to be like a banked ledge. So it's going to be just this little bank ramp like you would use to like push a cart up onto a loading dock or something, a little bit steeper, a little bit shorter, possibly using stamped concrete. We're looking into green features, I think I'm going to say this wrong, but permeable concrete. I don't know. You have to ask Gabriella. Hopefully she'll get on soon. Yeah. So we're going to use skatable features that are also enticing to the public. On the other side of where you can't see at this point is it'd be like a floating bench. So you could sit down and relax, but we could also use it as a skatable feature. And this is one of the sections that would be for more of like a beginner line. So this is just an idea again. So this is going to be like a pump track. You see the little cat there rolling around.
Right.
And with this little like banked ending. We're not exactly sure how we're going to work with that. Thankfully, we're going to be working with a professional design firm that deals with skate parks, and they're also landscape orientated. It's called New Line. They're out of Canada. I know we're using a Canadian firm, but these guys are the best. They really do. They create some of the greatest landscape skate parks out there, like LaSalle and Buffalo, New York right now. So that's we've been there. The work is quality. Everything's great. But you can see that there's just a gentleman sitting under a tree there. And that's just another little bench that's not going to be skatable. So you could sit there and not have to worry about someone, rushing by you even, not even coming near you. So it's going to be fun. And this would be like our main feature. Again, you could see kind of in the background, you could see the Family Dollar, and you could see Jen and Derek's Captain's Room Cafe. You can see Lions National Bank. And this is all obviously going to change a little bit, but this is, again, the general concept. And so there's just like a set of stairs that come down for, and then off to the side, you can get up there. So everything will be ADA approved. So, you might not be able to go directly up the stairs, but you can go around. And the only real traditional skate feature is that one coming off the stairs, which is a hubba, but this one's, I guess, technically called a dubba. It's a double-sided hubba. Hubba is just really just a down ledge. You find a lot of those in like urban plazas and also like skate parks as well.
Neat.
Yep.
Very good.
And then when we go back to location, what Gabriella did was just amazing in my opinion with her vision of these pathways. So these pathways connect different aspects of downtown. You can come right off the lakefront and then cut right across over to the Catherine's Room or the bus stop, the Greyhound's in there. You need to go make a deposit, but oops, I was flying my kite with my son. I don't want to hop in the car. I could just literally just run across and you're there. And the pathways also represent a deeper meaning to her and to the Finger Lakes region. Is it came across as the idea of the glaciers carving out the Finger Lakes. And that's where you get those weirdly shaped pathways, how they go wider and they get thinner, or there's gaps in them, and they're not perfectly round, they're not perfectly in a straight line. They're in my eyes, they are perfect. And then each section of those are going to be, at least in this concept, is different levels of skateboarding. So the ledges on the side of where the parking lot is, we're zooming in, you can see another roller section, and then you see kind of like the same concept kind of happening multiple times, but the ledges, the benches are going to raise in height, and the angled ledges are going to change, and the transition on the pump track, or what I want to see is a ditch work situation, so we can retain the water and use it to water our plants, etc. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then when we get into lights, the lighting's going to be beautiful.
That's great. Well, what's the concept? I mean, what's the if you got finalized and got all the money and got the approval from the council, and they said, okay, you can bring it in. What are we looking at as far as time period before it all got done? Any idea?
If I actually had
everything go.
We're 100% go. We're
100% go
right now.
Right.
It depends if we get extra funding for demolition, because we're unfortunately going to have to take that park apart. But we want to take it apart respectfully.
Right.
We want to be able to reuse those blocks for the city of Geneva because there's a lot of stonework there.
Sure.
You know, we can reuse that in a different park and maybe just use it for beautifying Brook Street or neater, just making a flower bed. We have all these extra blocks we can use, so it's really exciting. And the bricks and stuff, we can reuse all that. I'm thinking it would probably take a summer to build a park. Maybe a little bit longer because there's going to be a lot of bulldozing, a lot of landscape is going to mostly in the phase 2 section is the idea.
Now, as far as financials go, obviously the city had $2,500 put aside for helping the design, correct?
Yep.
And now you and your team are trying to raise some money to offset and help out with that, correct?
Yeah, we got to raise $2,500 of our own money before we give the city will even cut us a check. So what's exciting for that is, say we don't, we just give up and we miserably fail. The taxpayer hasn't lost anything.
That's right.
And this entire project, the idea is to keep the taxpayer at, they're going to be the ones using it, which is exciting. But anyways, so what we teamed up with Lake Drum Brewing over on Castle Street. Well,
sure.
I think it's technically East Castle Street. Victor and Jenna are good friends of ours. We've known them since, I think, their senior year of HWS.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been friends a long time. So Victor is going to make, for Cider Week, is going to be making, and he's going to keep it going, the North Seneca cider, which is real exciting.
Wow. Neat.
Yeah, I'm real. It's an honor for someone like Victor who makes really good cider, first off.
Sure.
And he's also a friend, but it's an honor for a friend of mine to step up and go, hey, dude, we're going to help you out.
That's great.
We got a lot of friends out there. We just got a donation from the solar, it's Simply Solar. My buddy Ryan is building the whole solar park by the tunnel.
So if anybody wants to send a check, where should they send it?
Unfortunately, at this point, I'm still finding a place to park the money because I don't want, Doug to write me a check to Joseph Marone.
Right.
I mean, you can anytime you want. It'll be given to the right place. Don't worry.
Understand.
But we need to find a place to put the 501c3 money.
But once that happens, you'll be announcing it.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yes.
Well, listen, we talked about Gabriella and talked about a couple of your friends that are helping out. Are there any other people you want to send a shout out to?
Yeah. Really, the entire Rock City Park team, they've been supportive since day one. They're the folks behind the park up in Rochester. They've been fighting for that for 10 years. Obviously, the Jaybird Apparel, who's been helping us out, they'll be down to help us out more. They're out of Rochester. Crudco out of Rochester has been huge supportive of, just everything we've ever done with the North Seneca Rail Jam, all the little skate events we do. And then obviously my team, Maddie, Scott. Scott's over at Finger Lakes Live. Go check those dudes out. You. Yeah. Every kid that ever worked for me at Joe's Hots,
that's right.
Cry thinking of those guys.
Oh, I know.
What they've had to put up through for since the day I opened.
Yeah.
Me missing work to work on this thing and different events. But I guess, really anyone that's been involved.
Well, I'm sure you'll keep us updated. Hey, before we flash off and give Joe the last comment, I want to send out a shout out to friends that I met at an event the other night at Del Lago. As I mentioned, Joe and the host and Matt put together a nice affair. Last weekend, we went over and I had a chance to check out on Friday night, check out a little meal at the beautiful banquet center of the hotel. Never been in there before. It was really gorgeous. Great service, had some nice grub, nice food, and then we headed over to the demonstration. Had a chance to meet Rick and Karen Paul, who Joe knows quite well. They were sitting with us at the table that we were sitting at and just enjoyed their company. I want to send a shout out to them. I said I would say hello to them. So Rick and Karen, the dog always comes through on his word. Look forward to seeing you soon. And I know they're going to be at the Paul Anka concert, which me and myself and Mary will be at as well, God willing, on the 22nd of the month. Well, Joe, thanks. I know as we're almost running out of time. I told you the show goes fast.
It does.
Again, I appreciate you coming in, giving us the overview concepts. And again, as the dream of the actual reality comes true one way or the other, if you get down some bumps and need some help, and you want to come back on the air, we're more than glad to have you. And bring Gabriella and bring anyone else you want with you. We can continue the dialogue.
I like it. Thank you so much for having me, Doug. It's been good.
All right, Joe. Joe Marone, ladies and gentlemen, joining us here on the Weber Show. We appreciate it, and it's a great concept. My wife's from Geneva, so I'm a big fan of Geneva. I spend a lot of time in Geneva, and I go to a lot of their great restaurants up there. So 2 thumbs up on their concept. Hope it goes through, and your help can certainly aid in that cause. By the way, just a reminder, a couple upcoming shows. Next week, we welcome in a unique show, which I think... never been big on doing 700 push-ups in the morning, but there's a fitness center down in Penn Yan where I used to travel a lot when I was doing play-by-play on the radio and even on when I joined Jimmy. The Pinyan Village is great. They have a fitness center down there called CrossFit Submerged. They're neat, and I have a good friend, Megan Peter, who's the assistant district attorney, who works out every day, morning and night. That's why there's not an ounce of fat in that girl. She's really sharp. We're going to get Megan coming in. She's the assistant district attorney. She is obviously their biggest, client they have at this place. We also bring in Chelsea, who's a coach of the fitness center, and we also bring in one of the owners named Stacy. I'm sorry, I don't have her last name. Stacy, who's one of the owners, Chelsea, one of the coaches, and Megan Peter, one of the great clients of CrossFit Submerged. They'll be here live next week talking about their operation. So speaking from my friend Joe Marone, along with Jimmy Senacropi, director-producer of the show, this is the dog bidding you farewell, everybody. Enjoy your week.